Today on Tricrow Studios, we take a look at the Paul Reed Smith MT15 Mark Tremonti Signature Series Lunchbox head. So looking at the front panel of this amplifier, first we have our power on and off switch, our standby on and off switch, our presence control, which allows us to control the presence for the lead channel as well as the clean channel, our master lead channel volume, which we'll get into later on. It's very important to use this in conjunction with the gain knob. Moving on, we're going to move into the clean channel of this amplifier. So first we have bass, middle, treble with a pull boost, and an independent volume knob for this channel. So looking at the treble knob, this is where a lot of guys are getting too much breakup when they're trying to dial in a clean sound. So right now, if you dial that treble back below the 11 o'clock position, you're going to get a very nice clean sound like this. But if you start to bring that treble up too far, you're going to get lots of breakup. You can start to hear everything on the top end start to break up a little bit. So with that being said, the volume knob is the exact same way if you take it past the 10 o'clock position. So back to that nice shimmery, chimey sound that we had that wasn't broke up, which is. If we dial that volume up a bit, we're going to get that breakup sound again. As you can hear, very easy for this channel to break up, but it's also very easy to get a nice clean sound. Now, also with this being said, if you do like both of these sounds and want that nice clean sound, but you also want that push sound, all you have to do is pull the boost out like this, and it's right there for the taking. Now, another use that this whole pull boost thing is great for is if we take this humbucker guitar and exchange it for something a little bit more single coil Fender-esque, like this Fender Strat here. You can already hear the big volume drop that you would expect with a single coil type of guitar. But pull that boost out and you get that volume back. So now let's look at some more sound samples, but with the clean channel of this amplifier. So now let's look at the lead channel of this amplifier. So clicking on the lead channel right now, we have some really cool red LEDs that are really bright, especially on stage, that just really glow, and it looks fantastic. Even just with the lights off in your bedroom, it looks really cool and it's quite inspiring. So as we discussed before, we have our master lead channel volume. This is something you're going to have to go back and forth with your gain, because the less gain you have, the less volume you're going to have going into the amp. So if you're dialing back, bring that lead channel volume up, and if you're going crazy with your gain, bring that back a little bit down. It's just a little bit of a balancing act. So in this channel we have bass, middle, treble, and gain knob, which is self-explanatory, but just so you guys can hear it, I'm going to play a tiny little bit with the gain knob so you guys can hear where the gain actually starts to kick in, how much gain is brought in from the get-go, and where the oversaturation starts to build up, like where you start to get too much noise. You're going to be able to hear that as we go. So here we go. I'm going to start here with completely off. So at about 7 o'clock, you're getting just a little tiny bit of breakup. The 9 o'clock position, we're getting a lot more. 10 o'clock. Now from here till about 2 o'clock is where I find the sweet spot of this amplifier is with the gain, depending on how much noise you want in the background. So right now it's decently quiet, but as we move on, you're going to start to hear a lot more noise like you heard in the first stereo track of this whole demo. So moving on now to the 12 o'clock position. You can really start to hear that excess noise pick up. So there we go. Now let's listen to some sound samples of this channel. now let's look at the back panel of this amplifier. First, we have our foot switch connect for our Paul Reed Smith FS1M channel select foot switch. This comes with the amplifier. Next, we have our speaker jack connections for 16 ohm and 8. Beside that, we have our bias jacks as well as an adjustable bias for all of our tech friends. Beside that, we have our full power and half power switches. If you want 15 watts, put it in the full power mode. And if you want half power, it will bring you down to 7 watts. Moving on now, the 2 jacks beside that are our effects loops send and return, and then our power input. So now let's listen to some sound samples of the effects loop with a couple different effects. So this concludes my review of the Paul Reed Smith MT15 Mark Tremonti Signature Series Lunchbox 15-watt head. You guys have been requesting this non-stop since this thing came out, and I gotta say this thing did not disappoint. This thing is pure, brutal, beautiful brutality in a small case. Now, I do say small case, but this is bigger than most of the other lunchboxes out there, which to me, I believe that is a plus because I don't feel like I'm carrying around a dinky little amplifier that doesn't look right when you put it on a cab. When you put this on a cab, it actually looks really good. And with these LEDs shining, especially on stage, it looks like a monster, especially when that lead channel goes on, that red light comes on, looks beautiful. So one thing I would like to stress is a lot of guys out there are getting confused with the clean channel. There's a lot of complaints about it being too broken up, too brittle. If you do what I showed you in the beginning of the video with the clean channel, that's going to really help you out with getting those nice, smooth, clean sounds. Some people, I assume, are just taking the volume and jacking it up and bringing the treble to determined position, and then they're messing around with all the other EQs and they're just not able to get the sound they want because they're actually fighting with what the treble's doing to the amplifier. So dial that treble back, dial that volume back, same way that you're going to do it with the gain channel and the master volume. Now, with that being said, there is an MT100 coming out soon. When, I don't know. I really can't wait for it, because if that thing is anything like this, it's got to be way better. And I can't wait to see what Mark and Paul Reed Smith are going to throw into that amplifier. I assume it's going to be 3 channels, maybe 2. I hope that the effects loop is switchable. I hope that you can select on and off the boost from a foot switch. Those are going to be big things that would really amplify the usability of the amplifier. And if they were to throw in a noise gate in the back just to control some of that excess noise so you can have cleaner brutality, then that would even be a bigger plus. So highly suggest this amplifier for anybody, unless you're really into just clean tones and you don't need a distortion channel. Maybe this isn't for you, but you can dial this back quite a bit, that you can get a pretty decent rock sound or hard rock sound. Not classic rock, you're kind of pushing it with that, but you can get some really, really nice distortion tones. Everything rings out really well. Everything is really present in the sound. When you're playing with the distortion, you can hear every note, which I would pay a lot of money for. And the fact that you're only paying $900 something Canadian for this amplifier, absolutely amazing. Huge bang for the buck. Anybody that would complain about the features on this amplifier, you got to remember this is a Lunchbox head. It's a 25 watt head. This thing is offering way more than what it should, and I think Paul Reed Smith and Mark Tremonti did a really good job on collaborating and making this head the way it is. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Enough though. I hope I've helped you distinguish if this is the amplifier that's right for you or not. Until next time, I'm Kevin from Tricrow Studios. Please subscribe, please hit the like button. I hope to see you soon.